Quran has three major themes. One is stories. The second is teachings about what to do and what not to do and how to do things. And the third is belief. So this surah encompasses and summarizes the third theme, which is belief. So it is 1/3 of the Quran, just as the Prophet ﷺ said. So people recite it also because there is a narration that if you recite it 3 times, it's equal to like reading the whole Quran. The benefit you get is like reading the whole Quran. But here's one thing that we have been misled with, and there's one thing we are doing terribly wrong. We have kept hold of this surah and we recite it, most of the Muslims recite it in every prayer, every rakah, because they don't want to let go of it. It has got great benefits. But in doing so, we have stopped reciting the rest of the Quran. Now remember the two Sahaba the Prophet praised, they were not just reciting this surah, they were adding this surah at the end of other surahs. And if they would have only been reciting this, most probably the Prophet would have said, you also need to recite the rest of the Quran. You can't abandon the rest of the Quran for this surah. So what we do today is only recite Surah Ikhlas in prayers. I think we shouldn't let go of it because it's ingrained in us and we love this surah, and it has become a culture that prayer is thought to be Fatiha and Surah Ikhlas. If you don't read Surah Ikhlas after Fatiha, you feel like you haven't prayed. But I think what we need to do is add other surahs. So either in the start, like the Sahabi, the Ansar leading the prayer in Masjid al-Quba, we can read Surah Ikhlas and then read another surah. Or at the end, like the Sahabi who was leading the expedition, he used to read a surah and then read it at the end. But there is a problem here. Some people think that you should always read the surahs in the order of their revelation. So if in one rakah you have read Surah Quraysh, in the next rakah you shouldn't read Surah Al-Fil because it comes before it. You should read something which comes after it. But when it comes to Surah Ikhlas, there are only 2 surahs which are after it, which is the Ma'uzatain, Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq and Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas. So as long as you read any other surah before it, you can read it afterwards. And if you're going to read Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq or Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, you can read Surah Ikhlas before that. So we can incorporate other surahs in the prayer, and we should not lose track of them, because this is one big mistake we have done by only holding on to Surah Ikhlas and losing the other surahs.